What's poppin'? It's your boy Dove's Banger. I'ma show you how I do my drums, how I record them, all the way to how I EQ them and get them poppin' like I'm known for them thick sounding drums. You want to make sure you have a DJ mixer or some sort of mixer that has the low end, the mid-range, and the high range. For the kick, we're going to turn up the low end. Also keep the mid-tone high. And we're going to bring down the high end. We're going to try and eliminate the hi-hat from the kick. When you're doing the kicks, you want to make sure that this doesn't peak past 0 because it'll give you some distortion. It won't really sound too good. It'll sound muffled. It'll sound really crackled. Stay in the -4 and the -2 range. Very, very important. Always keep your drums on mono. There we go. That's the perfect range that you want to be in for your kicks. So we're going to record that right there. That one kick. There we go. So we have our first kick. And now we're going to look for a second kick. Right there, we're going to keep that. Okay, now we're going to record our snare. So our snare, you're going to put the low end back to 0. You want to keep the mid-range a little bit higher. And we want that snare to smack, so we're going to turn the high end up also. That's really going to have your snare smacking out here. And we want to make sure that this is turned up just so the snare is hitting just to 0. There, that's perfect. Record that. We're going to find a second snare. Right there. We're going to keep that. Now we're going to record the hi-hat. You're going to want to make sure that the bass is turned really low. We don't want any bass coming from the snare or the kick interfering with our hi-hat. Right there. I like to leave a lot of tail end on my samples. Nice and airy. It fills up the beat very nicely. Now we got a kick. We have a nice little ghost kick in there. So we're going to put new sound. Now we're going to isolate that ghost kick. Ghost kick, main kick, secondary kick, main snare, second snare, hi-hat. Now for our kick, we're going to want a full range kick, so that means we want a little bit of a high end kick, a mid-range kick, and a low end kick. So first, we're going to go to parameters, drum 1. We're going to program these drums, go into the frequency and the filter right here, it says 100. Okay, that's how it sounds. Let's bring it down to 75. It's a nice start in the mid-range tones. Let's try 50. I think that's a little too low myself. Let's take it back up to 75. Now we're going to find a kick that has a high range tone and a low range tone. And these are pretty much the 4 kicks that I use to layer every drum that I come out with. So example of a high end kick, a mid-range kick, and these are 2 low end kicks. Okay, so now we're going to go back into our drum. Okay, we're going to go to assign. Now we're going to layer this kick. Okay, now it says B4. As you can see, it's a very, very low thud, and it brings out the mid-range tones in the original kick. And now we're going to also put a high range kick, and you're going to really see the difference. As you can hear, the drum really knocks now. It's a full range drum. Now you have a high end, mid range, and a low range for the drum. Everything comes together. It's going to fill the beat up nicely. So now we're going to go back and do the same for the second kick. Go into parameters, go to frequency, 75, assign, and just assign them the same kicks. we have a little bit of a crackle in the kick. So to eliminate that, go into parameters and go to decay. Let's just turn it up to 15. Okay, that's perfect. And now we're gonna layer the snares. These are the snares I usually choose from to layer with. Go back to the snare, go to program, drum 1, assign. Same thing with the next one, program, drum 1, assign. And there we have our snares. We're also going to layer the hi-hat. I have 4 hi-hats I usually layer every hi-hat with. So let's go ahead, assign. There we go. Now we have a much fuller hi-hat. It's really going to bring the beat out in the head nod.